NATO just delivered a fresh batch of F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine. And you should probably know these fighter jets are made by the United States. Now, I'm confused because I'm not quite sure how it makes sense for you to not allow Ukraine to join NATO because they are so corrupt that you feel you can't trust them. But not even a month later, you send them fighter jets as if you are obligated to support them in this war, despite the fact that they are supposedly not part of NATO. I don't know about you guys, but I'm finding it harder and harder to believe that this isn't just a proxy war for NATO's benefit, like we've been telling you for years. Now it's clear NATO is dead set on escalating this war no matter what. But we have to look at this in a greater context because NATO, the United States, and its allies seems to be absolutely committed to starting World War III. Because outside of NATO sending those F-16 jets to Ukraine, Israel decided they're going to bomb the capital of Lebanon and take out one of Hezbollah's senior commanders. And even though Iran showed Israel grace when it decided not to wipe them off the face of the planet once they assassinated their generals in Syria, Israel has the audacity to attack a Hamas leader and assassinate him in Tehran, Iran. This particular leader was a moderate who was placed in charge of the ceasefire negotiations. So I guess it's safe to say Israel has zero interest in pursuing a peace deal, which by extension means they have zero interest in getting your hostages back. But not only are these countries hell-bent on starting World War III, and that in and of itself is a huge risk to human life, but you're footing the bill. As of July 28th, crude oil prices have risen by 6.7% since the beginning of this year. Since the start of 2024, gas has gone up an average of 42 cents across the nation in the US, which brings the average to about $3.50 per gallon. That represents a 14% increase since the beginning of 2024. And even crude oil has actually increased by a total of 34% since pre-COVID averages. Now you might be asking, what could cause oil and energy prices to be so out of control? I don't know, maybe instability on a global scale brought about by the fact that the United States and its allies keep pissing off the countries that have the majority of the oil and the gas. So if you live in a Western country, not only are your tax dollars being sent out to these wars that you don't support, but you're feeling the effects of this incoming and impending World War III right at home as we speak. So imagine how bad it will be when they escalate further. And how long you're going to sit there and keep supporting the two parties that are allowing this to happen.
Joe Biden is sending Americans to fight and die in order to protect the genocidal regime of Israel. And this is all because Israel can't stop attacking their neighbors and assassinating political leaders. Benjamin Netanyahu went to the United States and demanded that the United States defend Israel against Iran, and Joe Biden listened to him because Benjamin Netanyahu is the real president of the United States. After months of lying about how the United States and Israel wants peace, you have Israel who assassinated a lead mediator from Hamas, and now the United States is defending Israel? It was always the plan. This is Joe Biden's war with Iran. Joe Biden now doesn't have to worry about re-election, so he doesn't have to hide his genocidal intent. Over the next few months, Joe Biden is going to be extremely dangerous. The second that Joe Biden drops out of the election, he floats the idea of Americans fighting against Iran. The Democratic Party is a death code obsessed with war and violence. Lindsey Graham, in coordination with Joe Biden, just submitted a resolution to authorize the use of military force against Iran. Bro, this is about to be a disaster. If you are in the United States military and you don't get out, I'm not going to feel bad for you when you die fighting for another Israeli war.
What's poppin'? My friends, my family, we are back once again. Welcome to Nick at noon. Man, we doing this at so many different times. It's good to be back, man. It's good to be back. There was a banger show with Sabi and JB yesterday. You guys know I had to bring my brother back on today. I had to bring my brother Niko House, my hotspot brother, who will be joining me today. Yesterday was another great, well, not yesterday, but 2 days ago. It was Wednesday, where I had my stream covering the coup attempt against Nicolas Maduro, which was soundly defeated. And I'm interested in hearing Niko's take. Niko will be joining us here very soon. We also have Venezuela analysis. And this is my focus, is covering the ambitions of the empire. If you live in the most violent empire in human history, whose main priority is to engage in war, I explained to you guys the NATO 2030 plan to go to war with China. I've been covering Western aggression against Venezuela for years now. And now there's a lot of these right-wing accounts. There's these people who stood up against the war in Ukraine because they was upset when they saw white people being killed. But those same people are extremely supportive of the Venezuelan regime change coup. And these are the Alex Jones, for example. Alex Jones is obsessed with this coup. There's a lot of these right-wing scum, like Nick Fuentes, who's very critical of Israel, the white supremacist CIA op. And then he came out like, no, I'm actually in favor of regime change for Venezuela. So this is a concept in which I brought up on my show many times before, because there are a lot of people who are going through some things. They're realizing that the right wing who was against the Ukraine war because they didn't want to see white people die, that they're not against the empire, that they are not our friends. They just wanted to spend empire resources more efficiently. It was Donald Trump who was stopped reportedly by Mike Pompeo and John Bolton regarding sending troops in Venezuela. I explain many times, there's a difference between being anti-imperialist and anti-war. There are people who are anti-war. They see one war that they don't like. They're not against the empire. They're not against state violence. In fact, they approve of it. They enjoy the perceived benefits they get from the empire. And as we are going further down late stage capitalism, and it's clear that China completely outclasses the United States, as more discontent rises in the United States, you're going to see a more aggressive empire. You're going to see a more violent police state like we are seeing now to keep the peasants in line. And now what we are seeing Joe Biden, who is not fearful of re-election at all. He is now unburdened by what to become. Kamala Harris made sure he was unburdened by the upcoming election. And literally less than 2 weeks since Joe Biden was no longer in the running to be president of the United States and he passed the torch to Kamala Harris, Joe Biden immediately announced a war. He immediately announced conflict against Iran. And not only is he having this conflict with Iran, he's sending American troops. So this is what I have on the screen here. Read out President Joe Biden's call with Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel. President Biden spoke with Netanyahu of Israel. So remember when Kamala Harris and a bunch of Democrats was engaging in political theater, pretending that it was opposing Netanyahu giving a speech towards Congress? During that entire time, you had Netanyahu, Biden meeting with Democrat leaders, and Biden essentially reaffirming his support for Israel. Kamala had the political theater of she's not going to show up to Benjamin Netanyahu's speech, only for her to meet with Benjamin Netanyahu privately and said that she will give Israel the full-fledged support. And now this is Biden after Netanyahu visited the United States and demanded that the United States help Israel with their regional war, send Americans to die for another Israeli war. Nothing new. Nothing new. United States foreign policy have been written by Israel over at least the last 35 years. Not saying that being very conservative, because I'm going within my lifetime. I'm 33 years old. In my 33-year-old lifetime, Israel got us involved in every single war. I showed the video of Netanyahu saying that war with Iraq would lead to positive outcomes for the entire region. And now we are stuck in another Israeli war, which, if you think about it, it kind of explains the right-wing critique of Ukraine, because Ukraine was in a war that was fought in behalf of white dominance. They want to go to war with China because they want to undercut China, because many of the white supremacists in the West, so I know a lot of people have a hard time acknowledging this, but the West is ran by white supremacists who put policies together in order to destabilize China and destabilize the world. Why? Because you would think it would be mutually beneficial for the West, for everyone to thrive, because you have bigger markets. If you have a thriving Africa, that's a large market in Africa. You have thriving China. You guys can trade together. The point I'm making is, without the presence of imperialism, we can have a functioning market system where everyone can benefit. But the forces of white supremacy is so strong, they cannot have China on top. And this is something that goes way beyond power. It's psychological. It's something truly psychological, because for a long time, white people was able to say UK was on top. We have a dominant UK empire. And then once UK fell, you had the United States. And they're like, okay, that's fine. At least it's another Jim Crow state that engaged in genocide. And so generally European culture was okay with that. But now we have the rise of China, the rise of multipolarity. And this is why I believe that this scourge of white supremacy has nothing to do with it, because a lot of people are confused why capitalism waged a trade war against China, even though not for their benefit. Everyone can acknowledge that the wars and the conflict with China. What's up, Niko? I see you in the background there. I'm gonna introduce my brother. This is the hot. We got my hotspot brother joining me today. This is gonna be fire. You have a lot of capital invested in China. You have a lot. America will benefit from a strong China, but the ideology is so strong. And don't get me wrong. This is not my only analysis of it. I think it's rooted in capitalist ideology that they can't show an alternative system working. But it's also, there's combinations of these things. There's just a European hatred of the idea of the white man not being on top. The idea of China being the superpower. Nazis and the Ukrainian Nazis, they believe Russians are mostly Asian. When you look at the ideology of Banderites and neo-Nazis, they view Russians as impure because they were taken over by the Mongols. They were taken over by the Mongols, and because of that, they don't view them as pure European, which is another reason why there's a lot of hostility there. But there's a lot of questions about why the United States do the crazy stuff they're doing, and it's mostly rooted in these disgusting ideologies, the disgusting ideology of Zionism. And Jewish supremacy is what lead into this conflict that we have right now. And I'm going to read this tweet, and I'm going to bring my guest in. That's my 10-minute intro monologue, I guess. But here's Sarah, great account. In the last 48 hours alone, Israel has dropped bombs on Palestine, Lebanon, Syria, and Iran. So in order to defend the genocidal regime that is launching wars all around them, very similar to the apartheid regime in South Africa, they want to send your children to die to fight for the Zionist regime, which is why I am going full parent shame mode. I had a lot of veterans very furious about a few of my viral tweets. Well, I say this, and I still believe this with every ounce of fiber in my soul. If you are a parent who send your child to die without a relationship-ending fight, and I don't blame the parents who fucked their children so badly that the children disowned them, you get a pass. But if you send your children to war to die for the Zionist regime, like the Biden administration is planning, you are a failed parent who deserves to be shamed for the rest of your life. You're going to sacrifice your children for U.S. imperialism? You had 3 brothers die because they was occupying, well, 3 black people, because one of them was female. they died occupying Syria on behalf of the United States regime. And then one of the mothers had a conversation, and she was asked about the situation in Syria, and she had no idea. She's like, well, I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about Syria. Talk about a failure. You send your children to Syria, but you don't know anything about Syria? And Niko's a father. I'm sure you can guarantee, I'm sure that he would back this up. But if my child went to fight a war in another country, you want to know who's going to be. I'll put you in the back if you need some more time, Niko. But if you wanted to send my child to a war in like a country like Syria or Afghanistan, I will be an expert in that country in less than 24 hours. Meanwhile, the parent of the black woman who was killed on behalf of Joe Biden's illegal occupation, I don't know anything about Syria. I don't know anything about Syria. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Niko House got to get his tech situation figured out, so we will introduce him very soon. This is what my whole riff is about. Because we need a new strategy. I am not someone who worships the military. I want someone who generally worships authority, which is why I'm an abolitionist. But this whole thing where we say, oh, God bless the troops. Thank you for your service. Go fuck yourself. Do you guys know what United States troops did in Vietnam? The mass slaughters, the mass rapes. You had the Seymour Hersh famous story, the rape of My Lai Village, where you had United States Vietnam soldiers who entered a village and slaughtered everyone, hundreds of people, and they raped children. They brutally raped Vietnamese children during the massacre of My Lai as well. Then those same veterans came back home and entered the United States, and then people said, thank you for your service. We have monsters walking among us. And I'm talking about Vietnam veterans. You know the stereotypical Vietnam vet? Man, I've seen some stuff, man. You guys don't know how bad it was in Vietnam, man. You don't know what we did in Vietnam, man. They try to warn you. Y'all don't know about Vietnam, man. Then people got messed up. And then American soldiers got PTSD because of the crimes they committed against another indigenous population. And then people felt bad for them. Oh my God, this soldier is shell-shocked. This soldier is going through trauma because of the war in Vietnam. They're going through trauma because they invaded people and committed mass atrocities. The same thing with Iraq. Can we stop this militaristic bootlicking culture? This is why I will never fit in mainstream society. I'm trying to remember the name of that guy's name. Was it Pat Tillman? Fuck. Was it Pat Tillman? The guy who was killed by friendly fire? Let me check. Yeah, it is him. The guy who was killed by friendly fire because he was a United States soldier that was willing to expose the fraudulent war in Iraq and Afghanistan. And as he was about to explain how he was sent here on false pretenses, he was killed by friendly fire. He was killed by the United States soldiers. So unless you are Pat Tillman, why the fuck are we respecting United States veterans? You know, the United States veterans that made the decisions that we didn't do. We are struggling in this capitalist system. We are struggling in this capitalist system in this age of 2024. And you're willing to kill and murder people for free college or free education? You selling out the global working class. And why am I saying this? Because I know some people's feelings are hurt. I always hurt a lot of people's feelings with this. The reason why I say this is because clearly the anti-war movement in the United States has failed. You want to know why? Because a lot of anti-war people still have esteem for the military. They will say, "Oh, I don't blame the veterans. I don't blame the military. I get it if you want to get free college." No, we have to be strong against the fact that if you join the military, especially during this age of vast imperialism, that you are a traitor. We need to instill as an anti-war movement mass disobedience, boycotting the military. And for a very long time, and this is my thesis, I only can come up with a hypothesis. My hypothesis on why the United States left, the United States anti-war movement has failed because of two things. The failure of doing what I just said, demonizing these war criminals in the military, making it socially unacceptable to join these scumbags. Because once this war with Iran pops off, I'm not going to feel bad for you motherfuckers. I'm going to laugh at every casket because you have plenty of time to leave. And if you don't leave the military on the eve of Biden sending people to fight for Iran, you deserve everything that's coming to you. I'm sorry. Before, you be like, people be like, oh my God, it's so sad. He has such a great future. You guys know he liked to play piano. You guys know that he liked to play basketball. Fuck that. Our failure to demonize people who started out the global working class and cut out the military machine by the legs because we're not going to end the anti-war. We're not going to be successful as an anti-war movement with legislation coming from these monsters. We got to cut them out and their resources underfoot. We got to cut out the resources of the military industrial complex. And no one ever talk about this. There are even people on the right who have frustrations with the endless war, but then they celebrate the truth. How do you guys think the endless war machine is fueled? It's fueled by people giving their consent for this endless militarism. And I'm not a liberal. I'm not a liberal who like to make excuses for people. I believe in a level of personal responsibility. As a Marxist, it's our responsibility to start a revolution. And you're one of the people who like, oh man, I joined the military, I was tricked, I was fooled, all this stuff. In the year 2024, in the age of information, in the age of what I call the golden age of journalism, where we're exposing the U.S. empire and how the ruling class wants to engage in never-ending war. At this point, if you're not pulling an Aaron Bushnell, the sympathy is over. We need to shift the culture to the point where if someone say, I want to join the military, you look at this motherfucker and say, what the hell is wrong with you? And there's a confrontation right there. What happens right now is someone say, I want to join the Marines. People are like, oh my God, Brad is so brave. Brad is serving his country. He make us so proud. It made us so proud. No more of that. Now let's get to the second failure, because I say there's two failures in my hypothesis of what went wrong in the United States anti-war movement. The second thing the American left has done wrong was demonize the enemies that the United States is fighting against. So if you're advocating for peace, and you advocating for war, why are you not only believing but repeating the lies told by the CIA and the State Department in order to justify the said wars? This is the failure of the Dr. Cornel West generation. You know Dr. Cornel West, who has Putin derangement syndrome to the point where he's praising Nazis like Alexei Navalny? Dr. Cornel West spread fake news. Breonna Joy Gray did as well, unfortunately. Breonna Joy Gray and Dr. Cornel West spread fake news that Alexei Navalny was targeted by the Putin regime. And I have the same access of information as Dr. West did, and I reported accurately how Alexei Navalny died of a blood clot. So do they have a blood clot, Ray, or gun in Russia that no one knows about? So what Cornel West and unfortunately Bree has done, they repeat the lies about the enemy. The West would say that Hamas is a terrorist organization. You had Dr. Cornel West, who condemned Hamas on October 7th for one of the most successful acts of anti-imperialist resistance in modern human history, probably of all time. There's no such thing as a non-bloody anti-imperialist struggle. The reality is October 7th happened, and now less than a year later, we are now seeing the death knells of the Zionist regime. So October 7th was successful. Dr. Cornel West in the professional managerial class, they don't support successful resistance against imperialism, which is why Dr. Cornel West came out immediately and condemned October 7th. And then Dr. Cornel West and those same progressives who did that then had shock and surprise after Israel committed a genocide after they gave them permission to. You are put with the left for a long time, put themselves in a weak position. How can you say that nothing should be done about Putin, Russia, China, or anyone else when you yourself say that they are evil tyrants and authoritarians? You immediately put yourself on the back foot. And even if at the end of your statement you will say, I don't believe the United States military should be getting involved, by you spreading the idea that Kim Jong-un is evil in North Korea, by you spreading the idea that Xi Jinping is evil, by you spreading the idea that Nicolas Maduro, like Bernie Sanders, did is evil. Bernie Sanders called him a tyrant with no evidence. Dr. Cornel West called Putin a thug, biting his brother. What you say the United States military should do at that point is irrelevant. The CIA got the propaganda they wanted. Lindsey Graham got the propaganda he wanted. And I'm thinking, man, I think Niko has some major tech issues. Hopefully we can get him in here. If not, if we can't get Niko in, we got to reschedule him. I think he was telling me he had some computer issues. Oh, well, you guys know I can rent for hours. So fuck it. I was about to have a conversation with Niko, but I think he's having some mad tech issues. So this is going to be a lecture, a sermon, very similar to what I'm going to do in Chicago. You know your boy going to be at a DSA convention. That shit going to be popping. So welcome to the sermon. Welcome to the monologue that's completely unplanned. Because I had a whole nother show with Niko House. Had a lot of questions I wanted to ask him. So this is off the cuff that we're doing here. Here's Lindsey Graham, who is strongly in favor. He's been advocating for war with Iran for a long time. I am doing this live. I actually want to find something. Lindsey Graham. I typed his name in wrong. Since I pretty much got to throw my show out. I'm of the working class. I have tech issues all the time. So Niko having tech issues, it's all good, brother. I can monologue. And I'll definitely invite you back on next week. It's all good because I have tech issues all the time. So my original planned show is tossed, but I got plenty of shit to talk about. As I always do. I am a talker, if anything. So let me find this video I want to find. And since I'm doing this live, I may find some receipts from hospital. Here it is. I know it won't be that hard. Well, I don't know if this is it because I'm trying to find it real quick. Senator Lindsey Graham voted against a Republican bill to strengthen border security. Same senator put forward a resolution to authorize the use of force against Iran. Hashtag America First. So I was just looking for a video. That's the right-wing criticism of Lindsey Graham. Even though the right-wing criticism doesn't mean anything because these same people are going to vote for Trump, who's going to go to war with Iran. Donald Trump assassinated General Soleimani of Iran on behalf of Israel. And if you guys want to know why all these tensions going on, Iran never forgave the United States and the West for that, by the way. So I'm glad to see this person, I'm not calling him out, give a right-wing critique of Lindsey Graham, but it doesn't mean nothing if you guys enable their power because you guys are too worried about the culture war. If people are so worried about the culture war, they're not going to vote on the principles. They worry about trans people. That's not, the right wing is unserious, right? You have Israel, who is, they have a death camp where they're sodomizing men and raping them to death. They are torturing them, subjecting them to electric shocks. It's literally the worst hell on earth you can possibly think of. And Israel is competing in the Olympics. Despite that, do you guys know in order to be an Israeli athlete, you are required to join the IDF? So every single Israeli athlete is IDF. And there has been investigation. I saw a Gray Zone investigation showing how you had multiple Israeli athletes because they were IDF. They called for a genocide of Palestinians, and they were allowed to compete in the Olympics. But that's not the controversy people are talking about. It's the culture war. We don't give a fuck about Israel literally murdering children. We're gonna start a culture war because the Italian female boxer sucks and quit after being punched in the face by another female. That's gonna dominate our attention. Instead of a genocidal cult being allowed to participate in the Olympics. And no, I haven't watched the Olympics because of that. Not like I'm a Olympics aficionado, but I will check it out every once in a while. There's literally no way I'm watching this fucking garbage with Israel competing. Anyway, I think we got Niko back. That was a 30-minute monologue.
Bro.
But I'm glad we got you back. Yeah, my hotspot brother Niko out joining me today. What's popping, brother?
Bro, I was going through an ordeal, dog. My computer, my other computer went out. My other guy had to reset everything up on my laptop. Laptop didn't want to work.
It's all good. It's all good.
It's all good, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. At least you gave me an opportunity to go on a 30-minute fucking rant. I'm playing. That's essentially what I was doing as I was waiting for you to get here. But it's great to have
30 minutes. That's light work, man. That's light work.
Yeah, we can talk. We can talk all day. So what's popping, Niko? You was on Savvy channel, bro. So I'm glad you are making because yesterday was ordeal. Yesterday was Savvy had a panel, a 4-hour panel, by the way. I check it every once in a while. I saw a part that I did see is you was debating this black Trump supporter lady, and you fucking. I know I'm biased, but you dismantled her in one of the most hilarious ways. If you guys didn't see it, check out the panel that Savvy did. And I'm going to ask Tabby for a timestamp. Bro, Niko fucking obliterated the Trump supporter. What's popping, bro?
What's crazy is it wasn't even really about Trump. That was what was weird about it. Like, she actually didn't even really mention any of Trump's policies. I was just like, I basically told it was a conversation about the effect on immigration, the black community. And everybody had spoken, I think, except for me and Colin at this point. And I was just like, so nobody's going to bring up foreign policy. Like, nobody's going to bring up the reason as to why everybody's coming here. And then I specifically said, because they were just going on a rant. And I'm all about like coalitions. And I understand every community needs their own coalition and they have to remain strong. But I don't like playing that game that white supremacists and those who like to scapegoat other people play. I don't like it because I am a black man and I've been a victim of that game before, where you believe that somebody else is the reason that you're losing an opportunity and it's really not their fault, right? We got to get to the root of the cause. And so I'm like, hey, I see that there's a lot of people here complaining about how immigrants are coming into the country from the south of the border. I said, so I know maybe one person here has spoke because it was Colin. So I see one person here has spoken about the stuff that's happening in Venezuela. Have any of you guys spoken about it on any of your platforms? Because we're starting wars and we're starting a coup. We're trying to do a coup right now in Venezuela. A lot of people are about to be displaced, and guess where they're about to go to? And then y'all going to complain when they get here, but not talk about why they left. Bro. I said, so until we have that conversation, she's like, well, I don't care about that. Like, okay, then don't tell me you care about the issue then. You just care because you're getting screwed, but you don't care about resolving it. That's my point. I'm about resolution. I'm not here to complain. I'm here to resolve.
Bro, you was the only thing keep my sanity. I was texting Zoya in the middle of it. I told Zoya, like, bro, the rage quit. I love Savvy. I try to support her, but bro, not Savvy's fault. But this panel was painful. And Niko was the saving grace because Niko was coming in with those absolute bangers because I've seen people, and I had many debates with these adults. I used to do a lot of these spaces where I used to humiliate these people on Twitter because I called them out as weak. They are. I called them out as the betas that they are, the people who are looking for a shortcut. Because there's nothing more pathetic to me. And I'm glad I was on the panel. I was kind of disappointed I wasn't, but like later, I'm glad I wasn't. Because there's nothing more beta than me than people who beg scrap for master. And that was I've seen one of the people, I think it was Terrain, one of the people that was like, man, we don't got time to worry about all these issues, man. We don't got time to worry about all these issues, man. They sending hundreds of billions of dollars to Israel, but you fighting.
Oh, actually, that was the majority of the panel. That was the majority of the panel saying that we don't have time to worry about X, Y, and Z, and we don't have time to like. I was like, well, nah, we do though. Like we don't really have a choice because they was basically trying to say that black issues should take precedence, and I respect that. That wasn't my issue. My issue was like I don't think that they are quite making the connection that as unique as our situation might be, or at least the effect or the impact. Other people, other coalitions have their problems, and it all goes back to the same root cause. And they didn't, and it was like an unwillingness. Like, and I'll give them credit. They explained the consequences very well, which is cool. Like, it's cool that we know all the numbers of the consequences of the military-industrial complex and the empire. But at the end of the day, those are the consequences. And I'm like, y'all keep talking about the conclusion, but nobody wants to talk about where we started.
Yeah.
Until we are willing to have that conversation, we're going to keep suffering. We're going to, and while we keep letting them divide us up as a Black community, it's going to keep happening. And that's they were saying that all the immigrants that come over here don't like us. Well, yeah, that part of that is true. That's not completely true. But I said the reason that they a lot of them feel that way is because of propaganda. And you have an opportunity to change that, by the way. I mean, I see it all the time. But also, it's because they're put into a survival mode similar to what we're put in, given the circumstances that they've come from. So they see us as competition, and we end up seeing them as competition when we should be coalescing. That's the problem. So yeah.
That and mostly I don't know how well I will handle that panel, because I was raging when I was listening to their talking points, because I'm tired of these liberals, Terrain, Dana, all those people that was advocating for us not to care about stuff. They're liberals and they are and I bet you they would probably tell you.
I think Terrain's voting for Jill Stein, actually. That's the crazy part. Terrain's voting he's voting for Jill Stein.
Interesting. I'm glad you corrected me on that. I didn't know. I'm just going based on what I heard in that conversation. Based on what I heard in that conversation, they and this is something that Terrain said directly to Colin, I believe, where he said, "Well, we don't got time to be worried about the empire. We got stuff we got to feed our own families. Where do you guys think the fucking money is going?" So, and this is why, as a Marxist and as a revolutionary, I know, Niko, you're not necessarily a Marxist, but as a revolutionary,
definitely revolutionary though.
Yeah, you're a revolutionary. As a revolutionary, I generally, and I fought ADOS for years. You guys know they avoid me because I used to dismantle these people on spaces all the time, because they used to advocate for divide and conquer. Like we gotta fight other Latinos and brown people in order for the approval of Massa. And if we fight the Black and brown people for the approval of Massa, Massa may give us reparations. If we fight the cultural wars that Massa wants us to fight, we may get reparations. This is what they believe, fam. This is what they believe. I tell these people, because they say that the Black and brown immigrants are taking stuff from us, as Black politicians send hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine and Israel.
Yeah. To be fair, they did call out the CBC, but it was for the weirdest reason. They're like, the CBC cares more about illegals. I'm like, that's what y'all worried about? I like, to be fair, the CBC screwing all of us over equally. I said, there might be some undocumented immigrants that get bussed in, right? But like, once they get here, they might get they card, a little debit card. That's about where it's going to stop. That's because after that, they on their own. And people don't really understand that concept. They're like, oh, they keep taking our tax dollars. I keep telling people, I'm like, I don't know where I keep getting this myth that undocumented people don't pay taxes when they contribute billions. Honestly, they probably pay more taxes than citizens do if we're keeping it a ban. So, but go ahead.
Oh, my bad, Niko. But the thing that frustrates me are these people are reparation activists. And I have said many times, I hurt so many people's feelings. There's very little amount of people in this country that is more unserious than a liberal supporter of reparations.
Yeah, that's for damn sure.
Someone please explain me your strategy in reparations. Do you think, and this is the position of ADOS, fam, I am not bullshitting you, because these ADOS people are anti-socialists. They're hardcore capitalists, and I fought the people because they're like, Black people should be engaged social. We need to get our bag too. We need to get our bag. But what they think is going to happen is they're going to vote enough Democrats in that's going to give us the reparation tag.
That argument was made last night.
Revolution. Go ahead, Niko.
No, I was just telling you that argument was made last night. I don't know if you were saying that because that argument was made last night, but that argument was actually made.
No, I didn't hear that part because it was a 4
Yeah, it was.
Give me timestamp, bro. There's literally no way.
It was made by it was towards the end of the conversation, but it was made by a Kamala supporter. And I was like, and everybody was arguing, like, because everybody was coming up with their different ways on how to get it achieved. And I was like, actually trying to calm everybody down, because they were like, we have to gain support. And I'm like, just 13% of the entire fucking country's population is Black. That's irrelevant. So if you think we're going to get enough support to get reparations, that's not how we're going to do it. And I was actually trying to explain to them, we would have to do a class action lawsuit because like one, out of everybody there, I was like, hey, everybody, just out of curiosity, has anybody ever worked in the legal field before? Okay, cool. So I have. Has anybody ever started a lawsuit that went to the Supreme Court before? Okay, no, I have. So you guys want to just hear me out really quick, because I'm trying to get to a solution again. That's what I was trying to do. And I was trying to explain to them that we would have to set up a class action with Black people in their different classes, right? So you're going to have probably a class for ADOS specifically, but then there's going to be a class that could be disproportionately affected by the policies that were specifically directed at Black people who may not be able to document themselves all the way back to ADOS. But then you're going to have a class of Black people who've been here long enough to suffer from Jim Crow, and each one is going to have a class and a claim. That's what I was trying to explain to them. And what you have to do is you keep busting the goddamn justice system head into a federal judge recognizes that their damage is owed. And they're like, well, no, but we got to get support. I'm like, no, there's not support necessary. Gay marriage was not a popular idea. But guess what happened? That shit here, ain't it? Equal rights for marriage is here. A lot of the things that we need, we have to one, kind of take our emotions out of it. Two, stop thinking about things traditionally, like and how we would normally go about certain things. And three, stop pretending because we failed at achieving a goal that the strategy in and of itself was flawed. It just means that you probably just need to try again, because everybody keeps forgetting like how many times interracial marriage failed in the courts, right? People be forgetting that shit. People forget how many times, like Dred Scott, remember they were like, nah, you a slave, dog. And then it turns out, oh shit, no, you're not. Like these things get knocked down. But you can't be like, I'm gonna vote for Democrats and that's gonna solve my issues. You talking about, miss, I'm not gonna do anything for Black people. No, that's how you gonna get reparations.
It's so stupid. And I don't have, you guys know my tolerance for stupidity is very low. Very low. And I fought these adult people because I would ask them directly, because these people are anti-revolutionary. They are Catholics.
Which is crazy to me.
I don't remember the guy's name, but there's a big famous adults guy he's like a notorious capitalist. Like he's anti-communist. So when I talk to these adults people, I expose how unserious they are. So do you think that we only 13% of the population? When you look at approval ratings, white people disapprove of reparations at around 70% rate. That you somehow going to vote enough representatives so that bill will pass both the Congress and the Senate, and then we have to elect a president that's also sympathetic to reparations. And once this president signs said reparation bill into office, then the Supreme Court, we have to hope that the 6-3 conservative Supreme Court doesn't rule it unconstitutional. So my question I've been asking to adult liberals for a very long time is, how do we get reparations without a revolution? How do we get reparations without a full-fledged Marxist revolution? And there has not been one person, I've been asking this question for years, who gave me a coherent answer. Not one.
It would literally only be through the justice system, which we know. We know, like we already are fully aware the justice system isn't going to play fair, because the problem with the reparations is like it's not that the president would be responsible because they signed it, because obviously if you went to the justice system they wouldn't have to. It doesn't matter. You're the president that Black people got money under. That's all you're going to be known for. So the politics that comes into play with that, the federal judges are nominated by the president, the administration. So who's gonna they're not, nah, bro, you better, president gonna make a call, you better not. So that's why it's revolution or bust. And with almost everything because it's not that reparations are impossible to get, but what do you want to do to get them? Because there are a lot of demographics that have been willing to do what they have to get whatever they need. And I mean, shit, AIPAC ain't got no problem with it. We see how far they're willing to go. Right.
And I remember with him, because these adult people, I remember it was a long time ago. They don't fuck with me no more, because you guys see why. They would say, why don't you tweet about reparations more? Like, why don't you tweet about revolution more? Like, the reparation part is not going to happen. The idea that capitalists, because you guys see the number that adult people float for reparations, which I agree with. They be like trillions of dollars. So capitalists are going to give you trillions of dollars.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's
like
the dumbest people are the people in the ADOS movement that think that the incrementalism is going to lead to something that's probably the most revolutionary act America has ever done since freeing the slaves. But go ahead, Niko.
It is, no, you're correct. It's disconnected, right? There is like a disconnect because we are aware that the damages are owed. That's not really it's not a debate, right? Yeah. We are aware of how the system has treated Black people because we once again, we can talk about slavery and that, but that's just literally where we start at. That's not even where we end up. But they keep wanting to participate in the very system that profited off of slavery, that then made every effort to screw Black people after slavery was over. And once again, have been literally engaging in Jim Crow policies since at least 2014, after the Jim Crow era. That's the last case of redlining that I'm aware of that was tried. That was 2014, guys. So my point is, tweet about reparations, talk about it. But if that conversation is separate from revolution, if that conversation is separate from bipartisan accountability, right? Like Nick said, you can't talk about I'm a liberal and be talk a serious reparations conversation. Like you can't. I believe on God, Dick, Trump will buy my vote before Kamala, whatever. On God, he'll pay me off. I believe that. I 100% believe that Trump would pay. This motherfucker, remember when he tweeted out during the pandemic? Hey, I got a $1,200 bill right now. Come sign it, Nancy. Don't put nothing else in it. Come sign. And she was like, no, because you're just trying to use it to win the election. And we were like, nigga, we don't care. I don't care. That's what he wants to do to win the election. Give me my money, please. But at the end of the day, it's like there's a disconnect in the rhetoric, and which leads me to believe that there's a disconnect in the understanding of how we can achieve those goals. Because there's a reason we're called minorities. Minorities very rarely get what they want unless they're willing to flip the fucking table over. That's how it goes. And we're not going to be able to do that while people are still engaging and ingratiating themselves in a system that literally doesn't care if they die. And I would probably argue that would rather see them dead because it's cheaper.
Yeah, and that's exactly why you and Colin were the only people who gave me say on that stream last night. So we need people to decolonize their mind because there are a lot of people who the fact that they even think that they can get reparations.
Oh, you say that again. You say that more clear. Say that one more time. I think they didn't hear you in the back.
I would say that if I was on the stream, bro, I definitely would have went off on that. I definitely said the fact that you guys even believe that you can get reparations from the system show that your mind is still colonized, whether you think so or not.
I would say only one person genuinely believed that. Only one person genuinely believed, because it was a conversation about why we should have it. It was a discussion about maybe the different strategies we can go about getting it. But there's only one person that believed that we can actually engage the system and do it. Nah, she was the one who was saying how we should use it, like talking about using Congress. I'm like, we're not getting shit through Congress. And I didn't even get to make the point that you made. Like that we would after we get through Congress, which is impossible. If we get a president that would have signed it, which once again, probably not going to happen. We would have to hope and pray that the Supreme Court doesn't overturn it.
I'm begging people to get serious, Niko. I'm begging people to get serious.
And she's like, but Congress, and this judge said this and this study. I said, I hear all that, but like, there's one way to get it done if you want to go through the system, and it's you have to keep hitting the door down through the federal courts. So you have to literally present it like Martin Luther King's family. I was just trying to explain to them because they were like, somebody made an argument that Judge Joe Brown said, what Judge Joe Brown. So here's the thing about judges. Every judge got their own goddamn opinion, Nick. That's why we got a Supreme Court full of them. And they all be having opinions about why certain legal theory can be applied in certain situations. So Judge Joe Brown can have his theory, but the reality is another judge probably wouldn't agree with it, which was that because the people who are responsible for it are not alive, we can't do a class action. Said that's bullshit because Martin Luther King's family sued after Martin Luther King's killer was killed and the federal government was found guilty of conspiring, and the family was paid damages posthumously. Excuse me. So in other words, after Martin Luther King was dead and after the original shooter killed him, the government was still forced to pay damages. And they were just like, but you can't sue the government. Yes, you can. Like,
y'all keep thinking this federal government is stronger than they are. That's why people are so like, if you're scared of suing the government, how are you ready to have a revolution?
Like, yeah, well said. I want to get to some topics. I'm gonna read the super chat from Landrew because I appreciate the generous super chat. Show some love to Landrew in the chat, my friends. Nick and Niko, two powerhouse minds that give me hopes in the midst of the madness. Israel has destroyed itself. Palestine will be free. Solidarity and community is how we win. Absolutely. And when it's all said and done, I think, well, it's not going to be in the United States, by the way. It's not going to happen in the United States. But around the world, anti-imperialist resistance movements are going to look at October 7th as probably the most successful act of anti-imperialist resistance in decades. Now, you can't judge the resistance movement based on how barbaric the people they are fighting against respond in kind to said resistance movement. That only proves the fact that they needed October 7th to happen. But the reality is, whether people like it or not, October 7th directly led to the destruction of Israel. It's over, fam. It's game time, bro.
You know that's in my daily affirmations.
Go ahead,
Nico. I do daily affirmations, Nick. Israel is destroyed is one of my daily affirmations. I swear to God. Yeah. I swear to God. Right up there with be a millionaire, give $1 million to the community, hit it again, destroy Israel. That's literally where my affirmations.
Yeah, clearly. I made it 100% clear that Zionists are my enemy. Like that's, and I mean for life, fam. Like there's no civility with Zionists no more. There's no accepting Zionists in anywhere near our movement anymore. There's no friendly. I won't be able to tell someone Zionist, but there's indication not gonna be any friendly gestures. They made enemies for life after what they did.
Barbaric.
They are. My imagination before this couldn't make up the shit they did. They go,
God, bro. They're motherfuckers that write, bro. The motherfucker who wrote the Saw movie scripts couldn't make up the shit that Israel be doing. And then like the subsequent reactions from actual Israelis, like you got protesters sitting outside the damn fence protesting, and I'm thinking bro, I swear to God, at first I thought they were protesting because they thought the soldiers were innocent. No, they were protesting because they had a belief that they have the right to sexually assault Palestinians.
Bro, when I read that headline, I literally couldn't believe it. Bro, guys, you know how low I view Israelis. Even I was shocked when I saw that.
I'm like, there's no way. I gotta read something else. This is wild. No. And the more I read, the worse it got. Because then you found out that the politicians were like, we're standing with the soldiers. We support the protesters' right to come out here and protest their right. And then I found out that there was actually a law passed on the same day I did the hotspot video to cover that shit, bro. There was a law passed that day last year, July 30th of 2023, that specifically gives double the penalties to sexual assault that Israel perceives to be nationally motivated or racially motivated, which is a weird specific thing, but except we know everything with Israel is projection, right? So fast forward, and everybody was criticizing because they're like, y'all just going to use this to punish Arabs, even if it's not true. And Israelis are never going to fall victim to this law. Fast forward, literally, that's exactly what happened. They had an opportunity to prove, we're not complete fucking scumbag monsters. And they're like, yeah, but rape. Why can't we rape detainees? I'm confused. Like, that's insane, bro. Can't make it up.
I'm going to tell everyone that story until I die.
Right up there with the sterilization.
Goddamn Grandpa Nick about those Israeli rape stories again. Nick won't shut up about the former state of Israel. The revolutionary.
Oh God, bro! Like,
how old am I gonna be in 2070? If I'm being very optimistic, I'll be 80 years old. So it's gonna be 2070. I'm gonna be 80 years old, and they're gonna be, oh, here Nick talking about Israel again.
Hey, great Grandpa Nick, bitching about it.
With his ramblings. Nick, the Zionists are gone, Grandpa.
Yeah, it couldn't be gone soon enough. Goddamn it.
You don't understand that concentration camps. Y'all don't get it. They used Ron. They're like, nigga, it happened. That was decades ago. No, I'm never gonna let it go.
Bro, I can't. Dog, I was talking to my homeboy yesterday. He's an RFK supporter. You know, he's a good guy. He has his reasons why he believes RFK is still pro-Israel. And I'm like, I get it, fear of death, whatever. But he was like, well, you know, all his other policies. Look, all his other policies, I have no problem with, bro. But there will never be a time in my life that I can take the images of these kids being ripped apart. There's nothing that can make me forget that at all. I said, I maybe because I have kids now. I don't know. Maybe because I know people who have been to war, and when both sides were equal, they're still fucked up from what happened and what they saw. These people are just in a war zone where they're trapped on both sides. The whole world's watching them being ripped apart. There's no, I don't care. If it meant that I had to lose my life to talk about that, sorry. Hey, look, I'm gonna have to write a will. If that's what it meant, if they were like, oh, you're gonna lose your life if you keep talking about this, well, that's what's gonna have to happen. Because my life is not worth 100,000. I promise you that. It is not. And so, like, yeah, when I'm 70 years old, even after this shit is done, I would keep talking about it to make sure it never fucking happened again. Because that's why we're here, right? Is because there is shit that has happened, like what we saw in the Congo, and why it was allowed to happen. Because that's a conversation we really got to be having. Not only that it happened, but the fact that it was allowed to happen and there was almost zero consequence. That's how we got here. And so we can't let that conversation flow by the wayside again.
So absolutely well said. You know how there's these old people who got stories for days. That's gonna be me. I'm like, you guys know. I'm gonna talk to the new generation who won't know anything about this. Like, imagine the children born in like 2040. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be telling them stories. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be old in my rocking chair.
That man said, hold up, not at 2040. We gonna be that old? Will we be that old? Shit, I mean, we ain't gonna be young. God damn, we'll be about 55. I'll
be 50.
Damn, we gonna be in a rocking chair when I know you'd be used to fighting, but
listen. I'm 30 years old, bro, and I now 100% understand the appeal of just sitting on the porch. You know what I mean? I'm already.
That's facts, boy. Hey, don't talk to me either. Look, don't talk to me. I'm just sitting here thinking. I'm in here with my thoughts in my damn beat. Just don't talk to me, boy. I hate it. I hate when I'm in my piece and I'm in my head and then somebody, Niko, what? What do you want?
Bro, when I was a kid, when I was younger, I played Nintendo, played basketball, played games all the time. I watched older people just sit on the porch like, what is he doing? Like, what are you
That's
getting
crazy.
out of this? But now I'm like, bro, I 100% get it. Bro, there's nothing, especially in the morning, I'm preparing my hotspot. I'm writing my script for my hotspot. I'll be sitting on my goddamn porch. So when I'm 50, I'm definitely gonna have a rocking chair.
When I tell you that's the one thing that black people in Brazil and black people in America have in common, bro, they some porch, bro. They will sit there all damn. I'm talking about these dudes, right? It's 4 of them, dog. Every single day, I'm up at like 5:30, maybe 6. And I'll either go on a walk or a run, bro. It don't matter. Rain, sleet. I mean, they don't really have a lot of anything else, but it could be cold. It could be rainy. It could be hot as hell. These motherfuckers are outside every single morning until 8 or 9 o'clock at night, Nick. And don't let it be a weekend, because the only thing that changes is that they barbecue. That's it. They just be chilling, bro. And I'm like, I feel it, bro. It's a vibe.
I get it. Bro.
It's like you in like a little bubble, bro. Like sometimes you just need your bubble. Because this shit crazy. Like, it's when you realize how crazy the world is, you have no problem with isolating yourself for a little bit.
Yeah. And that was my point. I'm already starting to be that way. So by the time I'm 50, I got a lot of lingering injuries. I'm a lifetime athlete. I still play basketball in my 30s. And it's so hard to play basketball now, bro, because I used to play basketball for hours, especially when I was in college. They had a rep center in Kansas City. They had a giant gym at this college that you go to. And we used to play full court basketball for hours.
Yeah.
I mean, that shit was intense. Like, there would be people who play basketball. You know what I'm talking about, the full court college.
Where I went to UNC, dog. I went to UNC. Motherfuckers skipped class to hoop. I'm dead ass, bro. They got like 3 gyms and they was all packed all day, dog. And we used to play 4 or 5 hours. Like, we would have morning runs for 2 hours, go to class, come back out and play for another 4 or 5 hours. And I would, bounce back and go the next day. No, do that shit now. I'm out for the week, dog. Call me. Living around the house.
Bro, I played 21. There was this kid who played for the high school basketball team. I was playing 21 with him and his homies, bro. I was done for the week. My knees was fucked up. That was like the most high. I played so hard.
I gotta do this run.
What was that?
All they gotta do is just run, because that's what I'll be better than them. I can score, but by the time I get about 14 points, 14.
Yeah, I told you guys I got mid range, bro. Don't get it twisted, bro. You better put that hand up. You better guard up, because if you don't, I will smack that mid. He had to realize that it was 18-21 the last game. I was so close to being this motherfucker. He was a good prospect. He played basketball for our school. He was really good. And I feel proud because I'm 33, bro. I was hooping with them. That motherfucker was faster than me, but I was like, bro, you better guard me.
Yeah, anyway, but hey, you know what they call us when we old, and we shifty now. We shifty.
Yeah. It was fun, man. It was fun. But the thing is, I did that, bro. I was out for a long time. I got knee injuries and shit. Like, I gotta do yoga. I gotta do a lot of yoga in preparation for my athletic endeavor now. After 4 years of football, basketball, my entire life, 5 years of jiu-jitsu, 12 years of Muay Thai. It's like, fuck, man. I'm 33, but I'm like 47 to be honest.
Yeah, anyway, you got about 47, 48-year-old joints. Yeah, I played basketball, ran track, and I did triple jump, so that was like a whole different thing. And so, yeah, and soccer. So it's crazy because I can get back in shape fast, but the problem is really like if I do get hurt, it's a long recovery process because it's usually something I had previously injured. That's the part that sucks. So I'd be scared to re-injure that shit again. That's what would be stopping me from playing some stuff.
Yeah, and if you're younger right now, guys, enjoy your metabolism while it lasts. Enjoy your metabolism while it lasts. I used to do jiu-jitsu weight cutting jiu-jitsu competitions. Bro, I used to be so fucking cut. Now, bro, I gotta fucking starve myself to death. I passed out in order to fucking get in good shape. So my message to everyone in their teens and their 20s: enjoy your metabolism as you got it, bro. Because it's not the fucking
Hey, you can actually control. So you can actually, if you start working on, like, if you do a lot of cardio and like muscle building now, like while you're young, so your muscles as you age help, well, even now, but as you age, your muscle actually helps you burn fat. And you actually gain muscle memory from working out in your youth. So I worked out a lot because I played 3 sports. And then even after that, I was in the military. And even after that, I worked out a lot. So whenever I work out now, it's actually very easy for me to gain muscle. And it ain't quite as easy to burn fat, but compared to my like other people my age, like they're not nowhere near.
I get a lot of muscle now. You guys see, I got a lot of muscle mass right now. It's easier to gain muscle. I got that old man strength now.
Yeah, boy. I definitely got that, but I yank them up. Yeah,
even my fighting style changed. Like back in the day, I used to be more of a light on my feet. I took a lot of inspiration from Floyd. I was a big fan of watching Floyd fight. Anderson Silva as well. I loved Anderson Silva. I used to be like more of a loose on your feet kind of fire. Now I'm like, bro, I'm Tyson, bro. I got that old man strength. My style is like almost changed when I got older.
Yeah, that shoulder roll.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, we got great conversation all the way. I'm gonna get to some topics and we wrap up here soon. I don't have time for a long show on Fridays usually, but I want to make sure we get to some substantive topics. Always great to have Nick on the show. Let me read a few super chats I saw come in. I appreciate all the support today, guys. They were 59.99. Love you guys. Ukraine and Palestine made me raging Marxist and communist. Revolutionary blackout and Midwestern Marx helped me out a lot. I will not let the Palestine issue go. I try to support a Palestinian family in Gaza with money and moral support. God bless you.
That's dope, man. Shout out to you.
No, for real. God bless you, because if one person support one family, you know how much better things off will be. When I tell you guys that everyone has a role in their movement and everyone got engaged in what they think they can do to make the world a better place, PAL is doing exactly that. I wish we had thousands of PALs out there. I mean that sincerely. Niko, did you want to say anything?
Nah, man, that's it, man. You know, out here we go to so my friend and my neighbor is actually a pastor, and you know, he actually goes out and he makes food. Him and his wife make food and go out and take it to the homeless people out there. There's actually not as many as you would think in Brazil, but there's some, and even people who aren't necessarily homeless, but you know, they're just on hard times that day. So we walk around and give people food. You know, I've helped kids. I helped put together a basketball court nearby. Yeah. You know, and bought balls because balls are actually basketballs and soccer balls out here are actually like fucking expensive as hell for them. Like they were playing with the same ball that they parents play with, and you would be surprised how much it's taking one or two people or a family under your wing when you can't, because that family's going. I feel like genuinely everybody just they have their down, but if they get that support, eventually they do end up back up, and then they pass that on to another family who needs it. I genuinely believe in that, and that type of mentality. That's how we get this. That's how we fix the world that we're living in, and honestly, that's how we stop having to rely on the government to do everything. If we all just take each other under each other's wings, that and genuinely become a family, which is how these villages used to be before we got separated in the suburbs, like the world will look a lot different.
Well said, brother. As always, well said. A few super chats, and what I'm gonna do a few, just maybe 2-3 rapid fire segments, just and then pass Niko, get your thoughts, and we wrap up. Just a few things I'll cover real quick. Thank you for super sticker, Samuel Bryce. Appreciate the support. I don't know why my nose so damn runny today. Thank you for $10. Purple Philosophy. Much love to you guys, supporting you any way I can. I appreciate the support, guys. It really help us continue this level of content. I have an event, since I do mini plug. I have an event in Kansas City with the Worker Strike Back Green Party. I'm supposed to be speaking at one of their events next week. And then there's the big trip in Chicago. So, fam, if you're in Chicago,
are you gonna be out there too? Oh, damn, well, everybody gonna be out there. Damn.
Wow, bro. It's gonna be wild. So, if you're in Chicago, bro, we need to get the RBN family together.
Bro, I can't go because of work. I can't leave, man. How, they be slaving us, dog. We can't, no pun intended. But
yeah.
But nah, I'm gonna be checking in though. I'll be covering. I'll tell everybody I'm gonna be calling in because we got StreamYard now, so everybody got cell phones, so we good. I'm gonna be calling people to get the on the ground scoops.
Yeah, and Sabby and JB have actions coming up soon for their chapters. So I got speeches I'm giving. We got direct mutual aid. I know I'm
Sabby got mutual aid in Mass, right? She had a mutual aid fundraiser for school.
I'm trying to find it. I know JB posted his on our YouTube community tab. I think you guys can see this. This is a JB. So big shout out to them. Like I told you guys, bro, this new era of RBN, I'm so happy. Let me put it on the screen. I actually don't have it saved. Like, bro, this new era, man, like we are such a well-oiled machine now. Like, no need to talk about the past again, but bro, RBN is stronger than it's ever been. Like in terms of the events we got coming. I'm not speaking at the fucking DNC with Shama and Jill Stein. I got a direct action I'm doing. Can't see.
That's about to be crazy.
They about to be wild because I already know what I'm about to say, bro. It's about to be fucking fire. And then we got JB and we got Sabby doing.
Bro, it's coming. Hey, Nick, bro. So that what's wild about that? That shit came back full circle because at the DNC convention in 2016, like out of nowhere, I was the one who spoke right before Jill spoke at the DNC convention in 2016. And so seeing you up there,
that's wild, man.
That's dope.
Yeah, it is dope.
That's dope,
I said all the time before there was RBN, there was Niko House, man. And Niko House is an RBN member, all step officially. But you don't want to be official member. You don't want to be official member. That means you had to work. But that's the only difference, really. But big shout out to
hey, man, look, I might need to start a chapter out here, man. Do some mutual aid in Brazil, shit. I mean, I already be just giving stuff away, so I might as well.
I would support that officially. But I cannot emphasize enough, and I'll get back on topic on this, but I cannot emphasize how proud I am of JB, guys. And I feel like, and I am kind of salty about this, if I'm going to be honest, JB does not get nearly the kind of flowers that he deserves.
Facts.
And especially coming from someone who knew JB 4 years ago, guys, the amount that he improved. He read theory, history. He's almost a completely different person. He was good before. That's how I became friends with him. I used to have him on my old Socialist MMA show. He was good before. The amount of strides he made intellectually, and not only that, he is a handicapped man that goes through dialysis every week. He's living in poverty. If there was any motherfucker that has an excuse not to do anything, it would be JB. But despite that, JB Font has his own whole ass mutual aid organization.
Mm-hmm.
why don't more people talk about JB? It literally makes me salty. Like, to be
Get
honest.
up and then get back from dialysis, do a whole ass 2-hour show.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Anyway.
bro, that JB, I mean, same with, you know, Rome, for different reasons. He don't get enough of his flowers. And you know, I am happy that you and Sabby are starting to get the respect that y'all deserve. You know, sometimes it's a trickle down effect. There's roles and levels to it, but like you said, like that's, I mean, I said the same thing whenever I had JB on the show. I'm like, and it's not even just JB. I would make an argument that there are a lot of people that deserve their flowers that don't get them, and there's a role that we all have to play, even you guys, the audience, just to make sure that we're constantly just uplifting those who are trying to do the right thing, who are actually, especially doing the work on the ground. Like, that's the most important thing, doing the work on the ground. And not, I ain't talking about, because now doing the work on the ground look like, oh, I just went with my fucking iPhone and got a video, went viral, and now I'm famous, and now y'all watch my show. That's not that shit don't even pull out your iPhone and doing something like that. It is what it is, cool, but this is work on the ground. They're organizing and making sure that people who didn't have now have. You can't do anything better than that. There's no journalism, no fucking YouTube channel. Nothing is better than giving somebody that didn't have something, putting whether it be food on the table, books to go to school, clothes on their back, taking somebody that didn't have something and giving them something. That's the best work you can do. And JB and obviously all of RBN, they're setting the standard in that regard for sure.
Yeah, I still got lifelong friends for RKC mutual aid runs. Like, people who like, bro, why are you doing this? Like, they like the legitimate happiness that people feel just by not only just by getting stuff, but the feeling of a community coming together. So I cannot stress this enough. And then be last time I'm saying we get back to the topics. And I'm only saying this because JB mentioned this on stream before. You gotta know when we floated the idea of RBN chapters, JB was very nervous, guys. Like, I remember during the very early days, he was like, I don't know if I can do this, man. This is a lot of stress that's gonna be put on me. And then during the conversation, we were like, hey, bro, we get it. You disabled. We already know the Orlando chapter probably won't be the most active because you're disabled. It's okay, man. Despite us saying that you don't have to do that much because you're disabled, JB went and did the goddamn thing despite how nervous he was. Like, he was extremely nervous about doing it, and he got out of his shell, and now he has a mutual aid organization of his own. There's many people who are caught out on Twitter who are fake socialists and fake communists. If you are a communist and socialist and you don't have an organization that you made or you're a part of, you just offend the ideology. No one is living the life of a revolutionary more than my brother JB Font. So I'm sorry for that 10-minute promo, but if there's anyone who deserves a 10-minute promo, it's JB. So if you're in Orlando, and it's this Sunday, so that's why I'm doing a big plug. Please social support, because JB has really put himself out there. And for my mental health, I need every single JB's event to be successful. So that's the last thing I'm gonna say. I'm gonna get to it once again. These are gonna be very shotgun for the sake of time. I put this up earlier. You have Israelis that are fleeing the settler colonial state. I'm gonna see if I can find this other tweet that I retweeted.
Oh, is this a new one?
Yeah, this happens all the time.
Jesus Christ.
Because damn, I forgot this.
Oh man, you telling me you think you're all a little scared? Maybe it's not a good thing that your fucking psychotic president is trying to bomb the whole goddamn Middle East. Hey, look. Once again, I don't understand why y'all are living, because there are people that, you know where these people are going. Go ahead, tell them, Nick, where they going? Back home.
Yep.
They going back home. Palestinians can't go back. That is their home. That's where they live at, right? A lot of Lebanese that are about to go through it in Beirut. That's where they live at. That these motherfuckers are catching a plane. They're going through security and they pulling out not a visa, they pulling out a passport to the country they're fucking from.
Yep.
That's called settler colonialism.
That's why when we say from the river to the sea, we are not saying genocide. We are telling the motherfuckers go home. That's the only thing that we're saying here.
Yeah.
And if you guys, since we're having fun, since you guys won, I saw this, I retweeted this earlier. So this right here, is gold. I'm so glad.
Bro, I saw your goddamn tweet. I saw your tweet.
So this person here, you guys read the description. She's a settler, Jewish Israeli, fiercely defend my country and a proud Zionist. So let's see what this proud Zionist had to say about the consequences of her country's actions. And I talk about a lot of depressing stuff on RBN, so it feels good to do a feel-good story every once in a while. And this is anecdotal, I admit, but I think this is very representative of the feeling in Israel right now. My aunt in Israel is panicking. She told me she thinks she's going to be killed by Iran and that I should say goodbye to her. I know it sounds dramatic, but she is generally scared for her life. This whole situation is unbearable for Israelis. Never again shall you guys ever know a moment's peace. Niko, I'll pass to you and I'll go to the next story.
Does her aunt live in Gaza? Is that why she's scared that she could be killed at any moment? Because, I mean, if we're going to keep it a ban, Iran is so restrained. I mean, even when they respond, my one prayer is I hope they don't show restraint. Look, guys, I'm sorry. I'm usually a little bit more measured and judicious. I don't like really holding everybody accountable for the actions. But there are two exceptions, generally speaking, there's one exception, really. It's Israel. Israel is different, right? A lot of people who are born in America, for example, you're born into a social contract and you can't really leave, right? You don't have other options. If you do have other options, it's very difficult for you to pursue those options. This isn't Israel. And most of America, isn't pro, sexual assault, for example. Most of America, whenever this genocide happened in Israel, I was actually very surprised to see like 70% of America, close to 75% at one point, they were like completely against what was happening in Gaza. I was like, oh, thank fucking God, because I was getting worried. But that's not Israel. They got like 70, 80% that support what's happening in Israel. And then there's some that actually believe that they should be doing, in Gaza, excuse me. And there's some that believe they should be doing more. In other words, like, okay, so y'all just need to find out. That's what I'm hearing. Y'all really believe that this shit is sane. Y'all believe, okay, cool. So y'all just need to get fucked up. Like, sometimes you gotta punch a motherfucker in the face. That, like, dead ass serious. Like, I don't know what else. What can we do? We shall overcome genocide away at this point. And so Iran, hey, look, handle your business, dog. Handle your business. We stand with you. We are with you.
Absolutely. I'm rooting for Iran unapologetically. I pray for the best for Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin because despite all your criticisms that you may or may not have with those people, they are way better than the genocidal cult of the West.
Yeah.
And if I see
genocidal rape cult.
Yeah, a rape cult.
Genocidal rape cult. Because you got to remember, they said we're the only ones here fighting for Western values, Western civilization. Wow, that's Western civilization and Western values. I'm good on that one, then. Talk to your people. They ain't with me. I don't know.
Easily the most honest thing they ever said, Niko. Easily the most honest thing they ever said when they said they're representing the U.S. interests. But I'll read this headline. I'll get to the next. We got two more shotgun segments we'll do real quick. IDF on high alert as Biden vows the United States to defend Israel against all threats from Iran. So you got Israel that can bomb multiple countries, assassinate political leaders, have concentration camps, murder, do everything they want. And then the second they face retaliation, the response of the ruling class is to send your daughters, your sons and daughters to fight and die for the Zionist regime. So I'm passing it to you, Niko. This is the joint resolution that Lindsey Graham
no fucking way.
Yeah, I did my hotspot on this.
Hotspot video.
Yeah.
Oh my God, bro.
Well, you know I want your take on this. I did a hotspot video on this today. We know Lindsey Graham has had a boner for bombing Iran for decades. And now he finally got what he wanted. Official joint resolution to authorize the use of military force in Iran. And Joe Biden said he's down. So not like he's in the veto, fam. So you guys better get the fuck out of the military right now. Niko, you can respond. Feel free to add anything you want before we get to our next shotgun.
So first of all, this honestly makes me think that this might be one of the situations where maybe Israel was actually doing what the United States wanted rather than the other way around. Like, because of the short timetable they have before Kamala takes her L, right? Was one thing that we do know, and that one thing that Trump has taken pride in, with all of his problems, he did not start a new war, continued the shit out of a few of them, but he didn't start a new war. And specifically, even though once again, I don't believe that was actually his plan. I think he just had to take credit for it. I think that he doesn't have control over that. But assassination of Soleimani almost sparked it off, but he showed restraint whenever Iran responded, because I thought that was it, bro. I genuinely thought because of his ego that it was game over, but he didn't. In a situation with North Korea, he's not only did he show restraint, he actually bridged the gap between the two of them, North and South Korea. With Russia, even though Congress obviously made it very difficult for him to get along well with them, it was amicable for the environment that it had been in the environment that had been created by the Democrats specifically. He even managed to stop a war between Russia and Ukraine from popping off, because apparently it was bubbling in the background this entire time and we didn't know it. So in my opinion, we can't ignore it. Like, it wasn't a coincidence that the fucking moment Biden gets in office, we're there at war, and it hasn't stopped since. So I feel like this is one of those opportunities. This is probably one of those possibilities where they're like, if we don't start this war with Iran now, we're not going to get another opportunity. And Israel's already overstretched. And this war between Russia and Ukraine isn't going to last forever. We can't keep it lasting. We can't keep Russia occupied forever, basically. Because I already told you my theory. My theory is part of the reason that the Ukraine war is being continued the way it is by the United States and NATO is because they know once Russia gets that right hand, because right now they're still kind of like managing some of the Syria situation and obviously the Ukraine war. But once that other hand gets free, it's Israel's ass. That's it. And so they have to keep Russia occupied. So if Trump comes in, we don't know in what way because it's Trump, but it could upset the balance and the synergy that they have with these wars, and they may lose their opportunity to stop BRICS. That's basically what it comes down to.
Very, very interesting analysis and very well said. I'm gonna get to the very next segment. I think this is the last one we're gonna do, and then we wrap up. How should I start this? Let's say, because there have been a lot of conversations about Kamala's race. Now, I was on Jimmy Dore's show, and I explained why I would never support Kamala and the reason why I never view her to be part of my community. Not only because she's not African American, but she married her AIPAC handler. She married a Zionist. She has no connection to our community. And this is my personal belief. They walked down Jimmy Dore, and this is from what I know in my local life, right? If you're not Black, or if you're not fully Black, but if you're attending our barbecues, you dating our women or men, you just around our community, we will fucking adopt you. Bro, there have been people I know in my life that I called Black for a long time. They're like, hey, nigga, you know I'm Latino, right? I'm like, damn, I didn't realize that. Like, we adopt people. That was the point I was making on Jimmy's show. If you're a part of our community. The problem is Kamala is not part of our community. Another problem is this is a conversation for me, not Trump. Unfortunately, this is a conversation for me, not white people. When white people say the very reasonable thing that I brought up, it's not going to play well. It's simply not, because as a white boy, who the fuck are you to gatekeeper a race?
Yeah, it's true, because y'all definitions and our definitions ain't really the same definition. Like I get it, because some people they're just they're giving their objective analysis, and I understand that. But like y'all the same people that are like, oh man, but like Obama isn't even full Black. I'm like, no, there's not such thing as full Black. It's like you're Black. Like, so for example, I'm mixed. I'm part white. That does not mean like I'm not Black. No, I'm still Black. Like, the cops don't stop and be like, hey man, really quick, what part of France is your grandparents from? Like, no, like, I'm Black, bro. You're Black. Hey, get the fuck on the ground. We're gonna beat you anyway. That's what I am. So with that being said, there are levels to this when it comes to Blackness, and everybody is aware. For example, I explained a long time ago that there's a level of privilege that I have because of me not being as dark as some of maybe my contemporaries. I said, if somebody came into the space that I came in 2016 and tried what I did, I'm not sure it would have went down the same. That was just based on what the evidence we have now, right? Given the space. So when it comes to Kamala, Nick, my main, so this double standard that we're seeing, like you said, she's not with us. And the weird shit that we are seeing is, so Trump gets invited to the Chicago conference. And I thought for some reason that Kamala didn't, but she did get invited. She gave the excuse. And now I was like, okay, it's legitimate justification. No, it's an excuse now. She had the excuse that she went to Sheila Jackson Lee's funeral and she did speak there. I'm thinking, well, damn, I can't get mad at her for a damn funeral that she knows gonna come, till I found out the fucking convention was 4 goddamn days, Nick. The convention it hasn't even ended yet. The convention is still going on, Nick. So y'all more mad at some random shit that Trump said. I don't care. Like, I mean, I care. Like, I will call him out for it. But my thing is, if we're doing a comparison, Trump isn't running on being black. He isn't making a big deal about it. Y'all ask about black people shit, he answers about black people shit, but he's not making a big deal about his blackness or lack thereof. There isn't a whole goddamn army that has been put out in front of us to convince us that he is black, like there has been for Kamala. And exactly. Kamala is running on this blackness that she never championed before. Nick, I bullshit you not. Go look up, when you get a chance, look up her DA or AG campaign. Do you know that she is not considered the first black district attorney of San Francisco?
That's what I was saying on one of my segments before.
Brooke Jenkins is. The reason why was because at no point has Kamala ever claimed to be black. That's her AG campaign is scrubbed because I think they were worried that if somebody goes back and look, they'll realize, damn, she's only ever mentioned being Indian.
Damn.
And dog, is literally the only thing you'll find from her AG campaign is the official Attorney General's page of California. Do y'all understand? You got a campaign to be like campaigning to be AG in California is a big deal because the AG in California is one of the most powerful quote unquote AGs in the country. It's like being an Attorney General of New York or maybe even Florida. It is a big deal. They scrubbed it. There is nothing on the internet from her campaign, guys. Okay, so why the hell is the media more worried about what Trump said about Kamala and her identity or whatever the fuck, or the mean things that he might have said about some people in the dog whistling, but y'all not mad about the girl who literally said, because they said, what are you gonna do for black people? That's basically what they asked Trump, right, Nick? Okay, y'all ain't gonna ask Kamala that? Are y'all not curious? Y'all not curious as to why she came out and said she's not doing shit for black people?
Yep.
Y'all not curious about that? Y'all not curious about the fact that she just lied to y'all and said, I can't make it because of Sheila Jackson Lee's funeral? Bro, the funeral's in Texas. They in Chicago. Hop, skip, jump on Air Force One. What we talking about? And why are y'all okay with her constantly coming up with excuses for why she can't get shit done for black people? Why she keeps letting black people down? Y'all keep making up excuses for her failing us, but then want to turn around and get mad when somebody questions her blackness or her black experience. You can't have it both ways. And if you're going to hold Trump to a standard when it comes to black issues, then I think that every black person would agree the black person who is using my identity to get fucking elected and gain power, you are held to a higher standard. Period.
Well said.
That's how I go. White people don't play about that shit. Them white nationalists don't play. Well, if you're going to get famous and powerful being a white nationalist, you got to follow through with that shit. But with Kamala, she get to play black. She get to play black. I don't get it. Bro, don't get me started, dog. Don't even get me started. That's a whole fucking rant.
I'm gonna see. What's the name of the organization again? The National Black Journalists.
Black Journalists.
I'm trying to see what the how you Google it. I don't know the name of it.
NBIJ or NBJI, something like that.
I forgot the name of it, but
you can look up the convention. Just put Black Journalists Convention. It'll come up.
Journalists Association. I forgot the fucking name of it. The point is, I'm trying to make. Let me put this article up. This actually wasn't my segment plan, but let's talk about it for a second, because Black Twitter was actually, and I'm usually someone who praises Black Twitter a lot, but Black Twitter was pretty insufferable during this entire thing because Trump said some cringe, but they was defending these sellouts as if the black community itself was attacked. For the many reasons that you gave, they're here to defend the establishment. So think about the opening question they asked Trump.
That was wild.
I don't have a statement. Maybe I should find this. Man, I don't think it's probably.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie though. So while you finding it, I'm just letting you know, bro. I laughed my fucking ass off.
I did too. I was saying that was the funniest shit I ever seen.
And you were 30 minutes late.
Oh, that was the funniest shit I ever seen.
I was crying. Said, dog, he called us out for being on. I said, y'all, hey, I know y'all was. You can't ask 3 black people to be on time. And you gonna tell me a room full of y'all was on time? I know y'all was.
Mr. President,
So I actually didn't have a planned segment on this, but since we end up mentioning it, I'm gonna do it. We can do a quick little segment on this. Because I'm gonna play this video and I'm gonna tell you guys everything fucking wrong with it. And it's not gonna be the position of MAGA. I'm gonna show you guys why this group that invited Trump is full of shit and they do the bidding of the establishment. Now listen.
We so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question.
I thought that shit was so funny, bro.
Bro, the fact that they all started laughing, dog, that shit had me even weaker. I was like, yo, they really laughing. Oh shit. Okay. It's gonna be one of them shows. Okay.
Trump really was like, bro, the fucking audacity. I fucking dare you. This man feeling was really.
He didn't even say hello.
You guys can't tell me this is not the funniest shit. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys what's wrong with this because it wasn't me. I saw someone else do the research. I want to take credit, but unfortunately, I don't remember their name. It wasn't me. But I saw someone do research into this organization whose name I can't remember. Let's call it the Black Journalist Organization or whatever.
Yeah, basically.
You know that they invited Barack Obama to speak, Niko?
No.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So when they had Barack Obama on, did they call out Barack Obama for turning Libya to a slave state?
Probably
Did they
not.
call out Barack Obama for his drone program?
Hold up, did he actually speak? Did he speak?
I think they had Obama there a long time ago. They have Joe.
Oh,
Joe
before.
Biden.
Okay, I thought you meant
Yeah,
this
not
year.
Not today. Not today. They had him on before, and this is research that someone else did. They had Joe Biden that attended one of these events. The point is, there are a lot of these swamp monsters who did unbelievable damage to the black community who they invited, and they never asked them those tough questions. So you guys see the problem I have? They have Trump here, and they're like, hey, I heard you said bad thing about black journalists. Some black journalists deserve to have bad things said about
And to
them.
be fair, he pretty much treated every journalist like shit. So that's not really a unique thing for. He called all them motherfuckers like he be throwing like that's just how that's coming. Let's be honest. The way they treated him is not really commanded the level of respect that they're asking for. So if I'm being real about it, it's a kind of given because they give Biden all the respect in the world, even when he doesn't deserve it. But Trump, they act like he's uniquely distasteful and disdainful, and all. But we have to treat him differently than we've treated other presidents, even though we know how bad they are. Like it isn't there's a double standard. And honestly, I'll give Trump respect for showing up because Kamala didn't even want to give us the fucking time of day. Like my thing about politics has always been because we know it's theater. Okay, if it's theater, then pretend. Can you at bare minimum pretend, Nick? That's all I ask because I ain't expecting much. I don't expect, but like if you want me to argue for you, if you want me to not go in on you all day, if you want me to not question your blackness, which is definitely in question, but not in Kamala's case, like, can you at least pretend to be black? Like, damn, they're trying to give you the fucking invite to the barbecue, Nick, and she's not even showing up to the fucking barbecue.
That's a great point. I'm gonna end the segment here. This will be the last one we do. Speaking of racism, You want to know the person, and allegedly it was reported today that Kamala already made her choice of Josh Shapiro. Josh Shapiro is going to be Kamala Harris's running mate. So I think this is such a perfect transition, actually, that I didn't plan. Because remember how the black reporters were calling out Trump as being a racist? Now Kamala Harris literally picked a racist as vice president.
It makes sense. She's transitioning from a racist president to a racist vice president. You know, it's like a smooth transition. That's a smooth transition, right?
Because if Kamala Harris because Kamala Harris and her team said they will go to an event that they host in October. I heard that they're going to do another October event. Kamala's going to be there. The question, are they going to call out Kamala Harris for this?
No.
Since they care about racism so much, right? Because this is what Josh Shapiro wrote. I'll pass to you. This is our last segment. This is what Josh Shapiro, the Jewish supremacist that Kamala Harris showed that is apparently, and this is according to leaks and reports, so that it could be wrong, but according to leaks and report that she already made her decision on Josh Shapiro. She's a governor of Pennsylvania, I believe. A very important
Pennsylvania.
That's why they picked
That's
him.
why she
But
picked
Josh
him, really.
Shapiro is among the most corrupt Democrats in the Senate, and that says a lot. And
I did not know that.
He's a vicious racist that smeared anti-genocide protesters and compared them to the KKK. And he wrote this when he was 20 years old. He essentially called Palestinians savages who could not have their own state because they are too warlike. He said, Palestinians will not coexist peacefully. This Shapiro, they do not have the capacities to establish their own homeland and make it successful, even with the aid of Israel, the United States. This is the most hardcore racism. Imagine if a redneck was like, man, even if black people got support from the United States and Israel, there's no way the barbarians will be able to create a state. So Josh Shapiro advocated for Zionist domination, a one-state solution for Israel, because he believed Palestinians are too barbaric to run a state. This is classic, old school, liberal, anti-Arab, anti-Palestinian racism. Anything you want to add? I'll read this last headline. We can wrap up because we already went a little long. Last headline I'll read and I'll pass it to you. Jewish lawmakers.
Hold on. Can I just that's literally like walking into somebody just built this beautiful house, right? You walk in there with your cousins, right? And you start arguing with this motherfucker he's like, all right, man, I don't know why you here, but I guess I can chill out on my couch for a little bit. And then they start raiding your refrigerator, and all of a sudden they done took your room and blocked it off and put a key on the door. And then when you start talking and telling people about it, they come out and take out a column in newspaper. This motherfucker is just not capable of building and creating a home. That's his problem. The audacity of this man. I came here and he let me in, and he did build the house. But like, how dare he complain that I'm using all his resources? I'm using his house. I'm using his bathroom. I'm using but what's crazy is the whole time they live in this motherfucking house, they still borrowing money from their friends down the street to pay for everything. That is literally what he said. Like, yo, I know you just built this house, but you don't got the capability or the capacity to build a house or a home or a country that existed before y'all showed up. Come on, bro. That shit.
And they think Trump are uniquely racist, Niko. And people think Trump is uniquely racist. This is the most classic, brutal racism that you can possibly find when they said that people are incapable of forming a state. And it's not like one off instant. You're like, Nick, come on, Nick. That's not fucking fair. Guys, after this was released, people are doing the research. This motherfucker has an entire history of smearing Palestinians as unhinged racists. Anyone who support the Palestinians, that's KKK. He's the most unhinged motherfucker that Kamala could have picked. So of course she picked him.
She picked somebody to the right of Donald Trump on Gaza and Palestine, dog. That is fucking insane to me. That is insane. Did you saw the video, I'm sure, of Trump was like, I'm just really upset that these poor Palestinian people are not getting the opportunity to realize their extraordinary potential. Bro, I was like, what the fuck did he just say? I thought it was AI. I swear to God, Nick, because I'm like, because he was saying it for Netanyahu, and at first I thought it was an act for the most part, but then I saw how uncomfortable Netanyahu was getting. I'm like, oh shit, I think he's that. You know, everybody keeps making a joke that the assassination attempt kind of fucked with him and has changed him a little bit.
Yeah.
And I looked it up. That it's true. I read the transcript for it. It's true. He actually, the context of it was partially talking about Hamas, but also talking about Israel. And also to be completely fair, at least the initial beginnings of Hamas, you do got to kind of give credit to Israel because they helped to create it because the PLO they didn't want. So technically that's kind of Israel's fault too. But what he was saying about every conversation we've heard from Zionists is they have, as Palestinians, don't have potential or capabilities. Right? And all of a sudden, Trump's come out of left field and with no ego, no nothing, just like, I really feel bad for them that they're not being able to get the opportunity to reach their extraordinary potential. It's not fair. I was like, and now I'm listening to, I didn't want to look it up, to be honest. I didn't want to look up Josh Shapiro. His last name is fucking Shapiro. I already knew what the stance was going to be, bro. I already knew. And the reason I didn't want to look it up is because I get seething fucking mad when I hear shit like, oh, they don't have the capacity. Bitch, if y'all had the capacity, why did y'all have to go steal someone else's shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't tell some, bro, because I guess it's gaslighting. Like black people get told all the time. Black people just don't. We don't. Even if we do reparations, we shouldn't just give them money. Well, they won't know what to do with it, motherfucker. I don't know if you heard about Black Wall Street or all the Black Wall Streets. We were just fine before the government stepped in and fucked us over. I don't like the gaslighting, and that's really what it is. It's like you're racist gaslighting. And you're ignoring the fact that y'all had to steal just to have the shit that y'all do got. And even with that, y'all can't support yourselves without the fucking US and my goddamn tax dollars paying for it.
Well, what a rant by Niko. We got wrap this up. I'm gonna do another segment on Josh Shapiro. I'll be back on Monday.
Boy, I can't. So now you about to make me do an hour show on just Josh Shapiro. You know that, right? I'm gonna do a whole.
Bro. Feel free to hit me up if you want to do it because you already know I'm going to do it, right? Because this is my first segment. Because and to be clear, guys, the rumors could be wrong, but it's being heavily reported that Kamala already made her decision is going to be Josh Shapiro. It could be wrong, but if it is true, it most likely going to be Monday or Tuesday they make the announcement. I'm gonna have Sarah from DD Geopolitics on Monday, and if they announce Josh Shapiro as vice president, I have a solo stream I'm playing on Tuesday. Just know I'm going to do a stream exposing this motherfucker because there are these progressives who are looking for any reason to sell out the Palestinians. You know, the people who made money off of the dead bodies of Palestinians like Crystal Ball, Cenk Uygur, and the Kasparian, they made a fortune pretending to care about the genocide in Gaza. And now all of a sudden, Crystal Ball is now all in for Kamala after pretending that she supported Jill Stein. So
all of them, all these motherfuckers, bro. I was like, these motherfuckers did not just do this. CNN, everybody fucking flipped, and I'm like, so nobody's gonna call this out. I tweeted about the shit. I said, so y'all do know these are the same motherfuckers that was willing to call out Biden, saying y'all should even sit out and not vote for him because of the genocide. And just that quick, the bitch that couldn't even get to the goddamn primaries, the bitch who left with 1% of the black vote. The people that she's claiming to be, all of a sudden, now genocide isn't important anymore.
Yeah, and you know what I'm hearing when they say, Niko, because they trying to find any reason to become a Democrat. As I predict, I told you guys, all these people doing good work on Palestine is going to try to find a way to get you to vote for genocide. I didn't know how they're going to do it. I said it. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to do it, and they found their excuse. They're now running that. They said, hey, don't you know that Kamala says she supports ceasefire? Joe Biden said that too, motherfucker.
He been saying that.
Like, don't you know Kamala Harris take a more sympathetic tone towards the Palestinians? Niko, what's worse? Pulling a gun, shooting someone in the head and saying you're sorry? How does that make it? How does that make it better? So there are these people.
It's not, and yeah, her rhetoric has not changed. It's been the same consistently, even now. It's bad.
And these people are tweeting stuff like, hey, yo, I'm willing to support Kamala Harris if she picks this person. If she don't pick Josh Shapiro, fam, it's always going to happen. And I can't wait to see their excuse on what happens once Kamala Harris picks him or another Zionist. Because if the links are wrong, it's going to be another Zionist. You got to know this motherfucker Josh Shapiro is so crazy. We both going to do a whole segment on this motherfucker, so I can't go too long. But this motherfucker was the guy. I remember hearing the story at the time, but I didn't know who he was. He was the senator that tried to get Ben and Jerry's in trouble because Ben and Jerry was engaging in BDS. That's him.
That was
I know
him.
you covered that story as well.
Bro.
I remember reading about the story. That's the guy who went after Ben and Jerry's for boycotting. So look, this is the last thing I'm gonna read, and we gotta do this again, Niko. Maybe more often than we do.
Yeah.
But over the years, Shapiro has repeatedly conflated principled protest and speech, including the use of boycott, the BDS movement, as tools to pressure the Israeli government. And this will be the last thing I'll say. And he went after Ben and Jerry's. It was an entire episode. Think about how extreme this motherfucker is. This is my last thought.
He's so extreme. He said, "Fuck ice cream, y'all." Like, that's crazy.
He said, "Fuck ice cream." So you have to realize that the gaslighters, the genociders, they say the Palestinians are evil because they engage in violent resistance. So if you're one of the people who condemns October 7th, isn't it only rational that you support BDS? Because BDS is nonviolent. It's a nonviolent way. It's the most effective nonviolent way to resist the Israeli state. But all the people who are against BDS, which include Nina Turner, which is the reason why I went after her so hard.
That's true.
She spoke out against BDS. So what you're saying when you speak out against BDS, because the circle between people who speak out against BDS and the people who hate October 7th is a clean-ass circle. So what they're saying is that Palestinians can't resist via violent uprising and they can't resist via boycott. So what the position of Josh Shapiro and the like and his ilk is that Palestinians and their supporters can do nothing about the state of Israel, even peaceful protests. And I know I ran a lot this string, so Niko, I'll give you last word. We definitely do this again, man.
Hey, look.
Any last word?
It isn't. You know what though? It's not even. Which I mean, so that framing is true. So they are saying that basically what they're saying is, oh, nobody can do anything about Israel. But it's to me, the worst and probably more proper framing of it is you can't do anything about your people being eradicated. That's what we're telling you. You can't do anything. There is nothing that you can do. There's nothing because the BDS was mostly from us. That was mostly from the people outside of Israel because that was the only way we can affect it because it's not like we can go there and fight. So they were telling us, you can't do shit. And if you do anything, you will lose your job. You will be fired. You will be barred from X, Y, and Z. We will literally try to ban people from eating your fucking ice cream. And if Palestine, and by the way, they were punishing Palestinians for BDS on top of that. So they were punishing them and harming us and trying to pass legislation. And obviously, if they do a violent resistance, which by the way, we can never say enough, Palestinians are entitled to do because their land is being illegally occupied. But they're not allowed to do a violent resistance because now they're called terrorists. So what they're letting you know is we're going to eradicate you and you need to let it happen. And I reject that on its face. Like when I went on that show, these motherfuckers try to be like, oh, so you think Hamas is a terrorist organization?
Oh yeah, I didn't get a chance to cover that. I wanted to cover that interview. We do that next time.
We can do it next week, but I just was like, no, the fuck? Like, oh, so you're a stupid idiot. I'm like, oh yeah. Boy, I had to turn, I kept it cool. I was like, I almost hit him with what the fuck did you just say? But I'm like, nah, you know what? I'm not even gonna give you that much energy. I'm just gonna make you look like a fucking idiot and make you. My intention was to make them quit.
I love the part, and they did. I love the part where they were trying to interrupt you, like, nah, I'm gonna just say this shit, and you was like focused. I can tell by the look in your eye. I'm not gonna listen to him. I'm gonna just say what I'm gonna say. He tried his best to cut you off, and he raised
because I was trying to actually let them. I'm like, okay, well, what is your rebuttal? I'm like, at first, when they would start talking, right, I would stop. I'm like, okay, maybe they have a legitimate rebuttal. I'm like, so y'all don't fucking have a rebuttal? Okay, bet. I'm just gonna go ahead and end this whole conversation then. Yeah. And that's really what it was. By the time I got to the end of it, because they were like, why is he bringing up the Black Panthers? Why is he bringing up Brown? And when I was like, yeah, and they called the KKK, they still won't label the KKK terrorist organization, but they called them the Black Panthers and Hamas terrorist organization. And when I got that out, they were like, cut it. Yeah,
that's when the panic. That's
like, yeah, motherfucker. Yeah, that's what I thought, bitch.
Yeah, dude, you don't want to fuck with Niko, guys. You guys don't want to fuck with Niko. And then when they invite you on, I was surprised. But we cover it more. We cover it more in detail because some people probably don't know what the fuck we talk about. We do another segment on it later. We play the clip. The last thing I'll say on the Josh Shapiro thing, because as you very eloquently stated, and as I was mentioning as well, being anti-BDS is the most extreme version of Zionism. is essentially saying that no resistance necessary. Progressives have said Palestine, liberal Zionists are disgusting, but at least they will say stuff like, yeah, we oppose any violence against settlers, but to oppose boycotts, like that's the most extreme. We go to a point that I saw an intellectual make. I don't remember their name, but I made this point on RBN as well. But it was an amazing point that one of the intellectuals made. There's a lot of people that are saying that despite everything that we covered today, Niko, that it's worth voting for Trump because Trump is a worse Zionist, that Trump will take office. And because Republicans are more pro-Israel than Democrats, whatever that means, it's actually better to vote for Kamala Harris. Guys, that's genocide denial. And it was a great point. I need to find this tweet so I give him credit because I didn't make it up. It was a great analysis where he said the people who say that Trump is worse on Israel, the only reason they say that is because their mind has to convince them that they didn't give power to the worst form of Zionism that we've seen. So Josh Shapiro and his ideology is as bad as Mike Pompeo, Donald Trump, but Democrats have to tell themselves that Republicans are worse than Israel because that's how they rationalize the evil that they voted for. Now, guys, I didn't say as well that thread. I gotta dig that shit up. It was an amazing point, but Josh Shapiro, and if it's true that Josh Shapiro is Kamala Harris' vice presidential pick, anyone who claims that Kamala Harris as a ticket, the Kamala Harris Shapiro ticket, is better on Israel than Trump is engaging in genocide denial.
That is so true.
They can't wrap their minds around what the Democrats and liberal wing of Zionism has done. That's my last thought. I've talked a lot.
That is damn. That is a bar, bro. Oh my, because it's like I say like when people are like, oh, because there are a lot of people who get in your comments or argue with you on Twitter and be like, oh, and Trump's going to be so much better. I'm like, I'd be confused sometimes. I'm like, hold up. Well, not genocide is better. I feel like not genocide is better than genocide, right? Like, I mean, I know the margins are slim, but I feel like not starting a genocide or not allowing one to happen or, or at least existing in the office and then the genocide not occurring is better than I'm going to help you commit a genocide, right? Isn't that I feel like that's a pretty solid equation. And they're like, no, if Trump is in office, it would be worse. I'm like, how? Well, no, because he was in office. It's like with Ukraine. They're like, oh, it would be worse. I'm like, well, no, because he was in office and it didn't happen. Well, it could have, it would have. Have y'all ever considered that maybe, just perhaps? Because that's like saying in retrospect, it would have been worse if Trump was in office during Libya. Well, no, because it literally happened under Obama. And it's probably some kind of like not taking away what George Bush did. We know how fucking horrible he was. But like the reality is it happened under Obama and it was probably a reason it specifically happened under him. What's happening under Biden isn't happening under him by accident. The Republicans got their beef with certain cities or certain countries, and certain leaders. And Democrats generally have their beef with certain countries and certain leaders. But when it comes to this particular situation, you're absolutely right. And the person who said that made a brilliant point. You can't be like, you got to vote Democrat if you oppose genocide, or if you vote for Trump, that you're aiding in genocide. Like, no, that means you're a genocide denier if you actually believe voting for a Democrat will do anything to prevent it, because we have them in power right now. They're here. They keep it's like, bro, it's really have you gotten this weird feeling as if somehow a lot of people have convinced themselves that Republicans are in power? Like that Republicans are running, like that they're the president right now? Has it not felt like that? Even with the switch to Kamala that we've seen. Like they're like, I'm like, hold on, wasn't this a bitch from the administration?
Bro,
it's like the difference between NPR and Henry Wallace.
Tougher on the border.
Huh?
Kamala Harris is literally running on being tougher on the border than Trump. She's literally running to Trump's right. That the whole statement on that. And because there's a thread of all the policies, she walked back naked for all, full-fledged support Israel. She's literally running to Trump's right. She said that she wants to support the police more than Trump, willing to fund the border. She's literally running to his right. But finish your thought, Niko. I'm sorry. Finish your thought.
She is who we thought she is. But my point is like, it feels the way that we've seen people flip. It's like, hold on, isn't this the same bitch that was here for 4 years? Am I confused? Did she spend? Like, this is the same bitch that had the tiebreaker for $15 minimum wage and literally was like, nah, right? This is her, right? Because it's like they acting like Trump just is about to finish his second term and is running for a third term. That's what they're acting like when they're trying to convince us to vote for Kamala, as if we have the opportunity, Nick, to see something that we haven't seen for 4 years. It is like this is the highest form of gaslighting that I have experienced since 2016.
Yep.
This is a higher form of gaslighting than telling me I'm not black and vote for segregation. Like, instead of that, y'all like vote for the black segregationists. That's where we're at now. Vote for the black segregationists who called the fucking segregationists out for being racist and then became part of his administration and had nothing to say about it. After he just told everybody we're not black if we don't vote for him. Like, y'all want me to vote for her? Well, yeah, man, because she's black. Well, you gonna vote for Trump? Is he so much worse for, like, he would be so much worse for black people? And okay, in what way? Please explain, because I'm confused again. I keep y'all the way they be talking. I'm like, am I the fucking crazy one, y'all? Am I the crazy one? Because y'all keep saying this with so much certainty. They say it like it's a matter of factual. It would be so much better if Trump was in power in Gaza, right? I'm like, but not genocide is better than genocide. I'm not a mathematician, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. It's not being at a war with Ukraine. It's better than being at war with Ukraine. Not provoking Iran, not once, not twice, but multiple times. It's better. Not getting your ass whooped in the Red Sea by Yemen. It's better. I thought. Is that not better? It's like they don't know or they don't give a fuck. And the level of sociopathy that we've seen in the independent media, and I wouldn't really put Crystal Ball in them and TYT, they're not independent media, but there are some in independent media who are pushing this Kamala shit. They are sociopaths, people. They are fucking sociopaths. There's no other way that we could, because there's some people that we've admitted, like, damn, I can't believe they're actually, they're calling out Biden on this. They're calling out Biden. Wow, okay. We might actually see, oh, nope. Back to business. Let's like we said about Bernie with Venezuela. Boy, I saw it. When I saw you when you tweeted out, I just know they putting the worst fucking tweet together.
Yeah,
I just know it. Bro, I was like, bro, this nigga fuck about to call this shit. And then this motherfucking Bernie literally, boy, he ain't want to make you a liar. He did.
I don't talk about Bernie, Niko. Like Nick, you, Misty, and a few others were the people that was warning me about Bernie back in the day. The Venezuela shit, that was the shit that got me off of him. Like that was one of the things I'm like, oh, this motherfucker not who I thought he was.
He's bad.
Like
He's
honestly,
bad
I think it's
because
Venezuela and the Israel issue did it. But go ahead, Niko.
And it was and what people got to remember about Venezuela, because it wasn't even just Venezuela. I think it was Bolivia too. It was basically what it amounted down to was white democratic socialism bad, black or brown socialism, or excuse me, white democratic socialism great, black and brown socialism horrible. Because he literally said, "Oh, if they were running their socialist countries like Denmark and Sweden, remember that." Bro, I was like, this motherfucker.
I did not put together what that actually means. I know exactly what you're talking about. The way you framed it, that is exactly what you just said. That's crazy. It's crazy. I never considered that till now. He literally saying,
bro,
white socialism.
It sent me away. I was like,
that's crazy. I never thought about it like that. That's crazy.
And what people know, I'm not even, bro. I'm not a full blown socialist. I believe in a lot of socialist policies, but I'm not a full blown socialist. But I know what the fuck you saying, dog. I know what you saying. You're trying to tell, like, what we're doing, we don't have the right to fucking self-determination, but they do. Absolutely. And you're willing to die on that hill, is what you're telling me. If it means that you can be part of the Democratic fucking circle jerk. Okay, well then fuck you. That's how I feel about it. So
another reason why saying Trump will be worse on Israel than Biden, another reason why that genocide denial, because that implies that Biden was doing something to try to rein Israel in already. And that is absolutely not the case. Because the implication these progressives are making is that Trump won't be doing the behind the scenes stuff that Biden is currently doing. Do you know how fucking stupid you have to be to believe that Biden is reining in Israel in any means? When asked about the sexual assault case, the fucking press secretary dude said he's not an expert on international law.
Bro, isn't that fucking crazy?
The NABJ charge, they said, oh, it's not our fucking business. They're shameless. But anyway, for real this time, last word, Niko. You keep it.
4 minute standing ovation. Yeah, 4-minute standing ovation, dog.
Yeah.
4-minute standing ovation followed by a meeting with Biden. Like, and I don't. Once again, how the fuck y'all? Like, at first I thought like, okay, maybe people are really no, they're sociopaths. We are like, United States is a country full of sociopaths. Like, and even some people who there might be some that are well-meaning sociopaths. I don't care. You are undiagnosed sociopath who lacks self-awareness, but you're still a sociopath because you cannot look at what's happening in Gaza. Look at these motherfuckers sitting there and justifying it every single because I don't give a damn when those press secretaries start talking or the State Department start talking and dog, they're talking for the administration. So when you like, I'm not an expert in international law. I don't know where I would be at in the White House when that happens, right? I don't give a fuck where I'm at. I'm running down there. Get the fuck out of my Yankee. What the fuck did you say? Hey, we denounce rape and sexual assault. I don't know who the fuck what he's talking about. I don't give a fuck what kind of relationship we have, what kind of ally it is. We ain't with that. Continue. Like, don't be fucking saying like good things are good, bad things are bad, I thought. But we're past that now. They're like, yeah, man. So I don't even know if sexual assault and rape is a crime. Because I'm not.
Trump is gonna be worse, Niko. Trump is somehow gonna be like, you gotta see how that's genocide denial. Like, by saying Trump is gonna be worse, what are you implying? Are you implying that Biden is doing something? Anyway, Niko, I'll pass to you. Anything you want to plug? We're 2 hours in.
Y'all just go to my YouTube channel, man. Y'all, hey, I'm letting y'all know next week I'm gonna be on one. So because this I couldn't stream as much as I wanted to this week. So I've been doing a lot of hotspot and I did a lot of interviews this week, but I'm about to be on one next week. So, just come. If y'all come, just know I'm probably not gonna be in the best of moods. I'm gonna be in a good mood. I'm gonna be in the mood to true tell, but it ain't gonna be a happy mood because I'm about tired of this shit. I'm over it. I'm so over it, bro.
People who been paying attention to RBN, especially in the new era, many people been saying I became more Rome-like. Like, if you guys remember my early YouTube channel, I used to be like, hey, yo, guys, welcome to the show. I'm about to explain why we should fight for Medicare for all. Now I'm like, we need to burn the Zionist regime down. We need a revolution. So I definitely get it. I have a hard time doing a stream without coming off as unhinged. So if you guys want to check out Niko House, I highly recommend.
How do you stay on the hinges with fucking 100,000 people dying and everybody watching? There's no way to not be hit. There's no way to not be unhinged. If you are just, yeah, man, it's just really sad what's happening, man. Like, you ain't seen the videos I've seen, or you ain't seen enough of them.
Yeah.
Like, my wife avoids them. Bro, my wife, when I showed her, like 2 days into that shit, I showed her. She was like, please don't. She couldn't take it, bro. To this day, she refuses to look at any international news because of that shit. Because she's terrified that maybe a video of Gaza is going to pop up. Because she's thinking about her son, like, in that situation and not being able to do anything about it and just being trapped. Like, how can you remain on the hinges when the shit that we are fucking watching is unhinged? And they're just gaslighting us like this. Like, it's crazy to me that people want us to just watch genocide and be cool about it.
Yep. There's so many times I went on stream and like, all right, Nick, we're not gonna yell today. We're just gonna present the news. We're gonna talk, and then 5 minutes in, fuck that, yo, fuck the
3 minutes and 45 seconds in.
But anyway, make sure you guys follow Hotspot.
For sure.
I'm very proud. I think we're about 1 year in ever since we had this RBN Hotspot relationship, and very thankful. Yeah, it was August of last year we started.
Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah, 1 year. And I'm very happy about it. I said it many times before. I think Hotspot made me a better commentator because I wake up every morning and I do a ton of reading. I prep for, and that's why, I send our people all the articles for stuff we're going to talk about or may not talk about. I honestly believe Hotspot, I think a lot of people in the comments can agree, made me way better at this. Just
for sure.
And just having another way to have a different form of content, short content versus the long 2-hour podcast I usually do. I'm very thankful for Hotspot. I'm very excited about our relationship moving forward. I love the work that Hotspot do. And I mean that sincerely. I'm honored to do work with Hotspot. And I appreciate Niko putting me on. And make sure you guys follow Hotspot.
It really is dope, bro. I love, it can be taxing, but only because if you love what you do,
it's a lot of work, bro. It's a lot of work.
Your ass off. Yeah, you're gonna work your ass off when you love what you do. So that's like, okay, it is what it is. But like, I get to wake up every day and I know that I'm gonna be covering shit and talking about the shit that matters to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what else? It's a dream. It's like literally it's the dream. And then I get to go to my YouTube and do the same thing. And as much as it can be stressful at times, it's really not stressful because of y'all. Honestly, y'all make this shit fun. And every time I'm about to be stressed out or I'm having a bad day or I'm like going through whatever, the moment I hit that go live button and I start seeing y'all pop in, I'm like, man, what the fuck was I even mad about? Shit, man, I'm about to have you a good time, dog. Like we back around family, you know what I'm saying? So, but I appreciate you having me on, man. I appreciate you guys too for sticking around and keep supporting RBN for sure. Make sure I go subscribe and follow Hotspot. And yeah, I might get up out of here, dog.
Yeah, for sure. It was a great show. Always welcome. Like I said earlier, you an RBN member, all but official title.
For sure.
Unofficial RBN member.
Bro, everybody be saying that shit. Everybody in my chat be saying it too.
Yeah, once again, the only difference between you and an RBN supporter is that you don't have to do shit on the channel. That's essentially the only difference I consider.
There you go.
So I'll put the banner up because I don't want to be seen anymore. But that's the week. That's my week on RBN. JB will be live on Sunday. Next Monday, I'm gonna have Sarah from DD Geopolitics on. You guys know we producing banger after banger after banger, and I have a hotspot banger I released about 30 minutes before I started this live stream. So if you didn't check out the hotspot video I released today, if you guys didn't check out the hotspot videos Niko released this week, make sure you subscribe to the channel and check that out. I'm very happy with the content that we're producing. This is exactly the vision that I always seen from RBN is happening right now. So thank you guys for your support and have a good weekend. Take care, guys.